welcome to VidCon Now Africa 2021. It's so exciting just to say that. My name is Lerai, your host for this interesting conversation on digital innovation in the African hemisphere and exploring African talent that lies within. Now, in this segment of the VidCon Now #Africa Edition 2021 virtual event, I'll be speaking to African talent and personalities that have managed to grow their creative focused careers through a robust integration of digitalization and innovation in their work, specifically through social media platforms. Now, Viacom CBS Networks Africa, through VidCon, is enraptured to provide platforms for African talent and their stories. And we are so proud to be at the epicenter of insights on arts and digitalization as an arts culture curator. Now, our commitment to the display of authentic African talent remains at our core, and VidCon Now #Africa Edition is an extension of this commitment. Don't forget to join our conversation. Our Twitter handle is @VidCon for questions and any comments that you guys have. Please also make sure to use the comment section there as well. We want to hear what you have to say. So you can also interact with our speakers and panel guests to engage in this interesting topic. Now, to start off with our conversation, we're joined by South African influencer, media personality, and award-winning digital content creator, Misali. Her work expands to beauty, fashion, and travel, and has a specific focus on lifestyle. Her combined social media following boasts almost over 2 million followers, making her one of Southern Africa's favorite content creators. Also on our panel guest list, we have Trevor Stierman, an award-winning contemporary multimedia visual artist, after graduate with a focus on motion picture and live performance, who sees the world through his creative lens and finds beauty in that which reminds him of home, a place that is imbued with color, love, and belonging that reflects Africa. Ever since he burst onto the creative scene, scooping the L-Star Reporter title in 2012, Trevor has easily cemented himself as a creative force to be reckoned with. Now, for our Eastern African representation, we're joined by Diana Bahati. Diana is an actress, reality star, mommy vlogger, model, and a social media trailblazer. Her social media brand focuses on African women and the diverse hats women exchangeably wear, and includes a focus on millennial mom issues, fashion, family, and a career in the media and entertainment industry. Now, last but not least, we have Nigerian digital star, TV host, content connoisseur, director, self-proclaimed fixer, and social media sensation who is best known for his appearances on numerous TV shows. Chewy Chew. In the social media space, he is known for creating and curating his own content to Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us. I'm so excited. This is such a crazy panel, and I can't wait to pick all of your brains. So the first person that I want to speak to is Misali. So Misali, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to VidCon #Africa Edition. It's such an honor to have you here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
That's awesome. So I want to kick off the conversation by looking at your brand and why it's so synergetic to the digital world. So the first thing that I want to ask you is that, as mentioned, you're an award-winning digital content creator, specifically in the lifestyle and leisure space. What do you think makes you unique in this space?
I think what makes me unique is just my authenticity and how I tell my own story in the space that I'm in my journey. Because if you are a digital content creator and if you're in the beauty space, you'll know that there isn't a huge difference in the content that we put out. Obviously, things such as investing in your quality will put you ahead. A lot of people eat with their eyes, so they want good quality content. They want clear sound. But being true to who you are and being authentic and just telling your story is something that really grasps people and keeps them there. And I think another thing that's also very important is to be consistent. It's a very fast-paced growing industry, and the moment you grasp people's attention and their interest in order to stay relevant in that space is to constantly be putting out good quality content and find ways to innovate yourself and your brand in a way that appeals to your audience, of course. So I think that's what kept me in the game.
Yeah. I love how you touched on excellency, and that's literally what our topic for today is. We're really highlighting Black excellency specifically in the digital space. So you are an African digital content creator, but you also have a taste for the international space through some of your work. How do you think how do you think Africa compares globally in terms of the level of innovation and creativity in the digital lifestyle space?
There's a lot of trends that I would say we have adopted from international content creators, especially because we obviously are only really growing and getting into the space now. But with that
Yeah.
being said, there's also a very beautiful way that we are now telling our African stories. And I love how now this is giving an opportunity for African content creators, such as a platform like this, to be able to collaborate on an international scale. So now it's no longer about us adopting international trends, but also creating our own trends and being able to share that with the world. And I think that's something that really puts Africa on the map when it comes to our craft. And obviously, every single story will differ depending on your background and your culture and your heritage. And I think we have so much to offer in our country, and there's so much rich culture. And now we're able to tell that story with the rest of the world. So that is truly, really the difference.
That is, yeah, that is literally, I totally understand what you're saying. But okay, I have like $1 million question because I think what digitalization has done for us as Africans, I can, attest to this as well, is that it has completely changed how I thought my career was going to turn out. So what effect did digitalization have in your career?
Your digitalization made my entire career possible, I should say, because it lives on the digital space, and it's helped me grow, and obviously, like you said in your previous question, now I dabble a lot more in the international market, so it's opened up
Mm.
opportunities for collaboration, which is really, really amazing, and that can have so much growth and a positive impact in your career. And another thing that I would say it's helped us with is being agile and being able to adapt to any situation. Another thing that it's helped a lot with is creating employment. There's such a high unemployment rate in South Africa, and I love how the digital space is now creating opportunities for young people to not only be digital content creators but also start their own businesses and find other ways that they can slot themselves into the marketing industry, and create opportunities for themselves and learn and earn a livelihood. And another impact digitalization is allowing me to put my craft out there, and opportunities to travel, and it also makes the running of my business as a content creator every single day so much smoother and easier, especially now during lockdown. I may not necessarily be able to go into an office for every single meeting, and now I can run the behind the scenes that everybody else doesn't see of my business at home, which is so convenient. I can have Zoom meetings, and another thing is obviously now we can be on VidCon during a pandemic, which is really, really great thanks to digitalization.
Exactly, literally. So why do you think it's important for African creatives, like you just said, to have platforms like VidCom that focus on African creatives?
For the longest time, the African child story has been told by everybody else but the African child. And that was simply because of the lack of resources, the lack of access to the internet, for example. And obviously, there's different types of stories. Some are in a negative perception of Africa, and some are in a positive. And I think the reason why it's so important for us to have access to these platforms is because now we are able to tell our own story, narrate our own story, and also share a lot more information about our country and where we come from, our various cultures and our heritage. And that's extremely important.
That I absolutely love what you said. And speaking of storytelling, I'm actually going to jump to Trevor right now because he has such a colorful introduction and it really speaks to the artist that you are, Trevor. So welcome and thank you so much for joining us. Hey Trevor, I can't hear you. Are you muted? Okay, just unmute yourself. But I'll go into the first question while you're sorting that out. So the African narrative is something that is synonymous with your work and your brand. Ooh, oh no. Okay, Trevor has just left. Trevor has just left, so I will just go on to Trevor. Okay, I see you, but I can't hear you. Okay, I want to make sure if Diana's here, maybe while Trevor's just sorting out his sound, we'll just hop right on to Diana. Yeah. Hey Diana,
Hi, Rai. How are you?
how are you doing?
Very well. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So,
Thank
Diana, you have
you.
literally managed to successfully incorporate fashion, new age motherhood, and career focus into your content and your overall brand. Which part of your work do you think is more enhanced by the digital space and why?
Wow. I'd like to say that first of all, my life is a content creation. My life is a digital. My life is basically about showing the world what a third world country can do. Yeah.
Mm.
So the digital world has really created a platform for me where I actually create money out of it. I make a living out of me being a content creator.
I absolutely love what you said about you're able to show what a third world country can do. And I've actually watched a bit of your content, and it's so
Thank
amazing to
you.
see how you've put your family onto this platform and you literally have such a strong fan base. You have people that support you. And I felt proud myself watching your content and just relishing in the fact that this is an African woman and she has got such great content. You've got such a great storyline, and your family in general is so beautiful. So there seems to be a
Thank you.
proliferation of social media based businesses, right? Going to the business side as well. How do you think you maintain this authentically African aesthetic in a digital business?
I loved what Milali said. It's about being authentic. It's about being you. It's about being natural. Sell what it is that you're proud of. Sell what it is that, you are an African. I am a Kenyan. So I am out here not to compare myself to other people, but just to bring the best out of who we are, who I am as a Kenyan.
I absolutely love that you said that because your brand really drives the narrative of an overall well-rounded African woman. And when I say well-rounded, I really mean well-rounded. Why is this representation so important for African excellence in the global space?
Sorry, just come again.
I was saying, so your brand, literally, you represent an overall well-rounded African woman. So my question to you is, why is this representation so important for African excellence in the global space?
I mean, look at Africa, look at our culture. There's so many tribes in Africa, so many culture to be proud of. Everywhere I go, every country I visit, there's so much to learn from, so many different tribes, so many different kinds of foods, so many things, So I just want to put it out there categorically that Africa is literally the big thing we have in this world.
That's so
Yeah.
right, because I love that you touched on traveling as well, because you really are a global citizen. I mean, right now, I think you said that you're in Dubai right now.
I'm in Dubai right now, yes.
Girl, look at you, Africa to the rest of the world. And I love the fact that we're on VidCon right now. So why do you think it's important for African creatives to have platforms like VidCon?
Uh, First of all, I really want to say that it's an amazing platform. The fact that VidCon has come to Africa for the very first time. You see other content creators meet at VidCon, but you know it's in US, in Mexico, and all that. But it's here for the very first time in Africa, and such a platform. I'm glad to meet somebody like Misali here, Lerai here. You know, it's actually an open platform where we can meet together, talk about different things, share different perspectives. It's just amazing to have a VidCon in Africa.
I certainly am enjoying it as well, just hearing different perspectives from different African creatives, you know. I just want to make sure that Trevor is here because I want to jump back to him and just hear what he has to say. Because I
Sure.
want to, what I
Yeah.
want to do with this is just hear from each and every one of you, and then at the end of it, let's have like a big discussion as well. So, Trevor, are you here?
I'm here, and hopefully you can hear me now.
Awesome. I can hear you. I can see you. That is wonderful. So I'll just jump
Awesome.
right into the first question. So the African narrative is something that is synonymous with your work and your brand. What are some of the elements of your work that are deliberate in conveying the African message in your content?
My work has always been, I guess, very deliberate and intentional. It has always been about undermining and challenging the typical African narrative that we've always seen on platforms such as, I guess, like National Geographics and platforms like that, where they've always shown, I guess, Africa from a place of needing aid, and not a place where Africa was a place with budding trade and economic activity, and so I feel that my work speaks to sharing light on an authentic lived experience.
And I think what's so your art, there's so much depth to your work and your art, and it almost feels like organized chaos because of how beautiful and robust it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of the biggest things that have played a huge that have contributed a lot to your work is social media and innovation. So what ratio of your overall brand can be attributed to your personal skills and talent versus integration and innovation?
I think the two are so connected purely because I operate on a digital space, and you cannot separate the two because you can be talented, but if no one can see your work, that means very little. And the opportunities and platforms that you are able to kind of access are quite limited. And I feel that with talent, that comes first, always, always, and it's what allows you to kind of um, exists, and it gives you meaning and purpose. But what kind of propels you and amplifies that talent is digital innovation. And being able to plug into platforms such as these gives you, I guess, a chance to kind of this basically like a platform like this just purely highlights what digital innovation can get you, and the spaces that you can reach are far and beyond your own imagination.
Literally, I hear what you're saying. And when you speak about innovation, it makes me think about the future. And when I think of the future, I can only wonder well, how would have Trevor Stierman looked like in the past when we didn't have innovation, when we didn't have digitalization? Because I, for one, personally found your work online. And I don't think I could even grasp what your brand would have been like in the past. But let's not look at the past. Let's look at the future. Okay, so do you have any future digital integration plans for your work in the future?
I guess for me, it would be to get more people online, and I guess, and for me to kind of travel more, to document more of, I guess, analog life, and to digitalize that, because I feel that our history and our heritage has not been documented enough, or traditionally it was always kind of transferred through oral tradition, and now we have a platform to solidify it and to kind of ensure that it can never be erased and that it can never be burned down. And I think that is, I guess, my mission, to ensure that I kind of leave a mark in history and to give the next generation, I guess, a more optimistic point of view of who they are. And that for me, I feel would be like a great start to the next generation.
I think that's so beautiful because what you're saying makes me realize that you're literally creating an infinite and an eternal digital archive of art that your children will see, your grandchildren will see, and you're showcasing African stories and you're telling authentic African stories. And all I can say is you're literally just scratching the surface. Like you said, you want to travel more. And I'm so excited to see what more there is to Trevor Stierman and his beautiful work. But going back to, the platform that we are on and the fact that, we are really scratching the surface, why do you think it's important for African creatives to have platforms like VidCon?
I think Africans need any and every platform because, firstly, we don't have enough platforms. And I think a lot of Africans, as Africans, we're quite divided. And it's beautiful to always connect and to come together as Africans to kind of come together to share shared success, and I think it's quite a beautiful platform that allows us to kind of see that we have universal struggles and we have universal triumphs as well, and that there's power in unity. And I think we need more platforms that can bring us together and that can allow us to share and to inspire.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Trevor. When you speak about collaboration or just hearing other African people's stories in general, you make me think of our next guest, who's Chewy Chu. And I actually saw a video of his that had went viral a few years ago. I can't even remember when. And he was the famous Chop Knuckle video. So I want to make sure that Chewy is here. Chewy, are you here? Because I wanna I want to hear just
Yeah.
from you and just how you've used. Are you here?
What's up? What's up? How's it going? I am here.
I'm good. Awesome. Hey, Chewy. So you're from what is referred to as one of Africa's hubs in terms of content and pop culture, and your work is essentially about messaging and storytelling. So just to get right into my
Yeah.
first question is, what do you think are some of the ways innovation has shifted the ways in which stories are being told in your field specifically?
Um, I think the first things first is we have to define what is innovation, and once we have that definition of that, then we can say how it's changed. And for me, I would define innovation as really technology, right? We have the internet, we have cell phones that have with better cameras, right? Cell phones with cameras, it's to put it simply, it's simplified content for a lot of people. It's brought it closer to a lot of people. Now you don't have to have like huge equipment or go to like college for 4 years, 2 years to learn a lot of things. You speak what's in your heart. A lot more stories can be told at like quicker, right? You have the luxury of listening to a bunch of things. You don't have to run to TV, have like set an appointment time. You can view and watch stuff um, at your convenience. So innovation definitely has been a huge um, driver to seeing a lot of creatives come out because now it's simpler for them. Just pick up a phone, you shoot, say what's in your heart, and then boom, it works.
Yeah, and I think thank you for that definition of innovation because it's really made being a creative and getting your work out there so much quicker. And we're almost living in this fast-paced digital realm. And it's given so many people,
Oh
so
yeah.
many young people specifically, an opportunity to take advantage and really grow themselves as a brand, should they, really use the platforms in a great way. So, are there any opportunities that you think African creators in your space aren't taking advantage of? I'm trying to get the inside scoop here.
If you ask the inside scoop, well, the thing is, if you ask me, I think African creators in our space are taking all the opportunities they can get right now. I think a lot of these guys are doing a great job, given the conditions we live in. I mean, look at the Ikorodu boys always doing these, like, they're from what you could say the slums, but and they're doing this amazing Netflix remakes that is just blowing the whole world's mind right now, and a bunch of people. So I really think we have been taking advantages of, like, every opportunity. I think the only thing I could speak of is the same opportunities a lot of people haven't been fully taken advantage of in their spaces, like even music as well, is, really plugging into more initiatives like VidCon, if you really think about it, right? So once in a while, not always create. Sometimes take a break to learn, right? Take a break to check out what the insights you have, like literally on your Instagram. You see that insight section. A lot of people don't really check it. They don't really see what do these numbers mean. They don't really check to test the pulse of the people and what the space is saying to see how they can innovate and keep on growing. So I think that's the only opportunity that people really need to take more of, not just like creators in my space, but just in general, if you ask me.
Yeah, and we, huh, okay. I think personally, what I could add to that is the fact that there's always room to grow and there's always room to do things bigger and better.
Hmm.
And like you said, that's why it's so great for us to have access to platforms like VidCon. And it's great that they're expanding to Africa now because I think it's created opportunities and
Yes.
situations where I would have never, okay, I won't say never, never say never, but I don't think I would have found myself in a position where I'd be having a conversation with you right now, virtually, with tons of people watching live. I don't think I would have had that opportunity with all the other guests that we have here on this panel. And just thinking of all the beautiful work that could come out of this because we're creating networking space and I think that's one of the greatest things that a creative can do. It's network because collaboration only comes
Oh
with
yeah.
power and greatness. So what I want to ask you is what kind of empowerment or supporting mechanism do you think is needed for the generations to come in African digital storytelling? You touched on Netflix and all of that.
You know, when I think about this question, creativity, like, and then content is such a fluid space. And it's like, can you ever really prepare for the future when it comes to, like, the creative space? Because a
Ooh.
lot of stuff that just comes out, you never really knew, you never really saw it coming. It just boom, it's out. I mean, we had Facebook, and then Twitter comes up, and Twitter is literally just like, it started as, I used to call Twitter, it's just a Facebook status. It's just an app for statuses. As simple as it is, it's grown to being so much more. So as much as you can never really fully prepare for the future in the creative space, because it's just like everything just hits you like a big bag of surprises. um I think just education. I think, immersing in the school curriculum, essentially encouraging people to be more creative and inspiring them from early on, because we live in a society where a lot of people, our parents don't mean to, but they just want what's best for us. So they want you to be doctors, lawyers, engineers. Funny enough, I used to be an engineer. That's where I started from. um, we don't get to tap into that creative side early. That's what this ring is. It reminds me it's an engineer's ring. So I think if we have this as part of the school curriculum, if it's a lot more normalized, damn, there is so much more that is coming that we're not ready for. Like, our parents can't understand this new social media thing and this Facebook thing because it just was not their reality. But imagine how a lot of us would have been different. There's somebody in a bank right now that could have been the next, like,
Mm,
movie star if they were just nurtured early. So I think that's the best we
yeah.
can do. Just that foundation, just that inspiring people to dream and dream early. That's good enough for now.
That That's so beautiful. And I've been saying that everything that everyone's saying is beautiful, but it really is, because that's something that I've been challenged with recently, or just something that I've been thinking about a lot, is
Really?
education. Yeah, for sure. Education, and how I think the education system, specifically in South Africa, because that's what I have direct access to
Mm-hmm.
being able to see, that's the exposure that I have, is the
Mm-hmm.
fact that our education system isn't innovative. I think young people are still being taught how to be workers, where we're going into this revolution, this evolution, where
Where we
more
have to
and
be
more people are
thinkers.
becoming
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs. Exactly. You have to be innovative. You have to be able to be a risk taker. You have to have the qualities of an entrepreneur, even if you don't have your own business, because, and coming back to what creatives are, and just how we've seen creatives really take a stand in this digital space, is the fact that they have created all of this. They've created their own businesses. Each and every single person that we have here on this VidCon um, panel right now has done that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think what I want to hear from you is, what is this hoorah about VidCon? We touched on the fact that networking is important, and you spoke about education. Why do you think it's important for us to have spaces like VidCon, for us to come together and have these conversations?
Man, growth. If anything, I think there's also the unintended, like, effect of or consequence of inspiration. What do I mean? When I saw the lineup of VidCon, I looked you guys up. Larai, I gotta tell you, I'm inspired by what you're doing. You're a presenter, I'm a presenter as well. And I'm like, yo, she's doing this. What do I gotta do to break in these types of spaces? Right. And it lights it lit a fire in me. It's just that, like, just right off the bat, just seeing who is speaking, and you may not know them, but you take time to look at them and see, okay, what are they doing? Why are they the ones? It just inspires you right off the bat. It's great for networking, it's great for exchange of ideas, because I'm not here just to speak, I'm also here to listen, right? And then there's the other things a lot of people don't talk about, right? Look, we all want to blow. A lot of creators in front of the screen, they want to blow, they want to be recognized, right? Speaking on stuff like this, it
Mm,
feels good. It it reiterates or reinforces that what you're doing is right. You're taking the right step. If people are going to reach out to hear you speak, or send you an invite to these type of things, you're watching somebody who has walked before you, and then you're on the right path. It reinforces that like desire to keep walking that path. Again, I studied civil engineering. I was that guy for a little bit, and my dad, wasn't really a fan of this, and he was an engineer for background. He's an engineer. My mom is a scientist. My older sister is an engineer. My sister after me is a computer engineer. So, like, I'm literally the only one in the creative space taking that leap. So for every time I got a gig, for
mm.
every time a video went viral, for every time something went right, it just let me know I'm in the right path, and I just got to keep pushing. I got to keep pushing. So sharing this, like, VidCon is platforms like this. It's almost like a place for people to show up and just be emotional. Like, yo, these are your struggles. You're not the only one, in the same WhatsApp group chat, as you would say. So, exchange of ideas, networking, inspiration, and just really support. It's what it is.
I wanna ask you another question on that. But before I ask that question, can I please bring everybody else in, because I want to get their commentary on the question that I'm about to ask you. So can all of our panelists please come back? Hello, everybody.
What up,
Hey.
guys?
Hi.
Hello.
So So Chewy touched on the fact that he's an engineer, and now he's in a creative space, and it just, what it makes me think about is the fact that he has studied something very technical, very logical, and super left-brained, yet he is in a right-brained career. and I'm sure that the fact that you've had that experience has allowed you to apply those skills into the creative industry that you're in right now. And I'm sure that it's probably what has contributed to so much of your success, is that you probably think different. So what I want to hear is there anybody here that has had something that, probably didn't expect to come into the creative industry, and sort of what are the things that have made you different? What are the things that make you think different as a creative? I think I want to start with Trevor. Somehow I want to start with you, so let's go with you.
Um, I guess for me, I studied filmmaking, and filmmaking gave me the fundamentals of understanding storytelling, and that I've been able to kind of apply to any medium that I can see myself as a creative expression. So I guess I studied storytelling, and for me, it's always been part of who I am. And in my formative years, in primary school, and high school, I did fine arts, I did dramatic art. So art was always a part of my everyday language, and it was an everyday practice. And I've always surrounded myself with creatively stimulating spaces and people, and that really shaped my eye, and I guess it has made me a better storyteller.
Mm. Misali, we haven't heard from you in a bit, so I'm going to come to you with this one, because I think what Trevor is saying is that he studied something, but there's a lot more that he has learned practically as well. And he's applied all of that in his practical life. It's almost like the school of life. So what are those little moments, or have you had any aha moments where you're sitting and you're working and you're like, wow, I mean, I could have only learned this from having worked in this realm or having experienced something working as a creative?
There's so many aha moments I've had. So when I was studying, I was doing strategic brand communications. That helped a lot with my career. It really helped me understand some of the ins and outs of the business that I felt I wouldn't have gained the knowledge except for through experience. But aha moments for me, it's just things that we're not taught in school, like networking and building business relationships. And then also me as a content creator understanding my brand, there you can't learn that in school, so being able to understand my niche and my market. Now I can have conversations with people who are also professionals in boardrooms and say that actually I don't think this will work proper, because that's something that I've learned. So there's a lot of things that I've learned with practicing. Hope that answers your
Yeah,
question.
for sure. It does. It really does. Diana, I think what's so beautiful about you is you have put your family on the social media space, and even just looking at the comments in this chat right now, you have so many supporters that are with you 100% every step of the way. And
Yeah.
how has that I just want to just get a bit of an insight into how that has affected your family dynamic and how that's affected you as an individual.
Um, I want to talk about vulnerability. Me coming out as a content creator, sharing the vulnerable side of me, just being true to myself. And I think in most cases, I have a fan base because I come out and show my real life, put my family on the spot and say, this is how it is. I was a reality TV star. We had our own TV show going on national TV. So putting my family issues out there, of course, you'll have people who support you. You have also people who will be like, no, I won't do that. But at the end of the day, I put it out there for people to understand. This is the real life. This is what happens. And I think so many people easily relate to that. And it's gotten to a point where I live for me, and that is what I sell out here. Just live for your people and be yourself and let the world know who you are.
Shoo, okay. Yeah. Vulnerability is something that it's very important, especially as a creative, because you are literally putting your entire being into your work. And that is literally what has shaped where you are and where you're going. So I
True.
want to put each and every one of you guys on the spot one last time before we wrap up. And just give me
Can I say
three
something real
words.
quick?
Yes.
I wanted to speak on the vulnerability she talked about. That is so powerful. And it's
Yeah.
funny to me. I think it's a struggle as a creative, right? You're vulnerable, you show parts of yourself, and that's what gets you successful. You get that money, you make people money,
Exactly.
and everything works out
Yes.
well. Now, when you have problems with some of these guys, they tell you don't take it personal, it's just business. But when you took it personal, that's what got them the business. It's very funny when people pick and choose. It's a struggle that creators I know I have, and it's like, nah, why? So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so what I wanted to go in and say is you are each and every one of you are successful in your own right. And I think what the main thing that I've been hearing from my conversations with each and every one of you is the fact that there is room for growth as an individual and for Africa as a continent, specifically for us as creatives. So I want you to just take a look at where you are now and try and envision where you want to be in the next 5, 10 years, and where you want the digital realm of African creatives to be in the future. And give me three words that defines that.
No.
I just made each and every one of you think, okay, who should I put on the spot first? I'm gonna do an eeny meeny miny mo. Misali.
Ah!
3 words. I'm sorry, you were looking so prim and proper.
I didn't think it would be me. I'm not gonna lie. I was very relaxed. So it's 3 words to describe where I'd like Africa to be in
And
terms of the
yourself.
digital space.
Yes.
Yo, um, what are the 3 words? Okay, so I can't necessarily say growth, but I want to say that, but I can only say the words. Okay, so I'd like firstly there to be more impact from Africa on the rest of the world, because I feel like that way then we able to tell our stories better. And like Trevor was also speaking on writing down our stories and having them permanently there. Second word, this is so hard.
Is everyone else struggling as well? I feel like you guys are off the hook because I gave you more time to think. Come on, number
I
two.
only have
Okay.
like one word.
Um,
Okay, should we make this a group activity? Should we all come up with 3 words all together?
I don't know which word to use,
Oh.
but I also really want there to be more access to internet. But I don't know which one word.
Okay. Access.
Well,
Let's
I'm
say
not even studying.
accessibility.
Yes, internet accessibility. And then the third word, I would probably say, what is the third word?
You're almost there. Come on.
I think
Come on.
for African creatives not to be exploited, to be respected in the space, locally as well as internationally. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.
That took forever.
I love
Sorry.
it. Thank you. It was beautiful though. Okay, I'm gonna say Chewy next.
I'd like Africa to be respected more,
Thank you.
appreciated more,
Ooh.
respected more. Not
Mm.
only
Yes.
when it's like
Respect,
Wakanda Forever time or
appreciate.
coming to America, that's when the focus is on us. But I like it to be on the everyday stuff. You know, when you appreciate it more, we pick up the better stories, we pick up the everyday life. You know, you don't have to travel outside and they're asking you questions like, you guys got TVs over there, you guys have internet? Like, no, you know, the same way we grew up watching Cartoon Network, it'd be nice if these guys grow up on some of the African content. And it's just like one big, you know, global village. So I really just think respect and appreciation, you know, third word, cooler. I just want it to be cooler. That's all. Can I say that?
Yes, you can for sure. Diana, what are your 3 words?
I think the best word, I only have one word that will summarize the 3 words. I just want us to be in a space where we are called pace setters, you know? When you look at
Please repeat that.
Africa, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I'm saying I only have one word that summarizes the 3 words, and for me, it's more of let's set the pace. I want us to be the pace setters with time. 5 years down the line, I want people to look at Africa and not think of, you know, just like what Chui has said. Where do you live? Do you live with monkeys? You know, I don't know. I just want us to be pace setters. That's it.
I totally get what you're saying, pace setters. I think we should be the ones that set the pace of where the world is going and setting the trends where everybody is following our lead now instead of how it's been, which is the other way around. So, Trevor, you've had the most time to think, but it's a tougher job for you because you're closing us off. You have to send us with 3 words that are gonna make us go to bed tonight and think, damn, Trevor Stierman really said
Trevor said
3 words.
I guess my hope and my aspirations for Africa is for us to flourish and multiply in all our efforts, in all our endeavors, and in all our enterprises. And yeah, that's it.
Oh
Okay,
man.
so are we gonna let him say flourish and multiply as 2 separate words? Flourish.
Sounds
I
like, come
mean,
on, Trev. Oh, man.
I
Flourish
mean
One
and
more.
that
multiply.
sums
We
it
need
up.
one more. No, it
uh,
really does. It really does.
yeah, I think because in that, I think everything we're doing, it's always about, I guess, scaling up, elevating, and just taking everything to the next level. And I think Africa is such a a progressive country, and even in the little that we have, we still always leading. It's like you just think of like the music people listen to globally, you think of the dance moves, you think of the fashion trends, and I feel like Africa has always just been there. It's just like if we were to multiply everything, and it would just become, I guess, more of a powerful force than what it is.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly
Ju-
put it, so beautifully. Flourish and multiply. I think before I close off, finally, are there any last sentiments that you guys have to say? Anything that you want to say to our audience, to, just taking advantage of the fact that we're on VidCon right now?
All right.
I
So
think
I'd like to say,
okay.
hi, Mom. I'm on VidCon.
Perfect.
I made
He
it.
said hi, Mom.
But but for
Let me
real
beat my
though,
mom too. Hi, Mom.
I mean, shout out to everybody creating and trying to create. Like you're doing great. You know, you guys inspire us. We inspire each other. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to push. And Trevor, please take it easy on the fashion. You're giving us tension over here, bro. You're killing it. Take it easy a little bit. All right? Can we breathe a little bit?
Thank you.
That's all for me, man.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you for having us. And yeah, it's been a great afternoon, great sharing and connecting with everyone. And yeah, I hope we can keep the conversations going in real life. And yeah,
I wanted to actually add to what you were saying about you guys inspiring us. You guys really do. And I think also sometimes small content creators are very much discouraged because they're not getting the recognition. But I want you guys to know that you also play a very important part in contributing to telling the African child story. So don't be discouraged. Continue putting out your content. There's a market for everyone and there's an audience for everyone. And I wish you guys all the success and the growth. And everyone on this panel as well, I wish you guys all the best. May you continue to strive, be trailblazers, and make some crazy moves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Um,
Diana?
I'd like to tell people out there who are aspiring to be content creators, it's not easy, especially when you're creating content. There's so much that goes behind the scenes that you don't get to see. It's a lot of work. You know, it requires a lot of sitting down and planning and thinking how am I going to do this? What will relate with other people? And all that. So it's a work in progress. You cannot start today and feel like, oh, my content is not being watched, I'm not getting views as much as Diana is getting, or Misali, and just give up. You never know when your turn will come. Does that make sense? Yeah, sometimes it works in a snap of a finger and you just blown out of proportion. Just like what Chewy said, content creation out here is very fluid. You never know what comes next. You just do something simple, and then the next time you're the next big thing. So keep at it and keep on pushing.
Yeah, for sure. Work hard, keep going, and keep pushing. And I think that sums up each and every one of you. So, whew, what an insightful and inspirational conversation. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of artistry and digitalization. Much appreciation specifically to Misali, Trevor, Diana, and Chewy. It is clear, guys, that African excellence definitely has a space in the digital content creator space, and we are in excellent hands. So, because this is the beginning, I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm definitely not going to say bye. I'm just going to say until next time. Can't wait to see you guys on more global stages.
Thank you.
Guys,
Yes.
chop knuckle.
Bye, everybody. Chop knuckle.
Bye.